All right, I'm gonna put this back up. Perfect. Here we go. Hopefully you guys are online listening. It's still recording, so we're good.
All right, perfect. And if it's hollow, what does that mean?
What the patient's doing.
Yeah, not what we want them to do, not what we're hoping for. That's where they actually are at. And if it's solid, what does that mean?
The vent is doing.
Yeah. So for unmasked ventilation, will all of those numbers be hollow or solid?
Well, so they would not be all one way or the other, I would think, because we
Correct.
know what because we still change it, even that's what the patient's doing, we can still change it.
So let's talk about peak inspiratory pressure. Will that be hollow or solid?
Pete?
The inspiratory pressure should be solid, but the range for the alarm, no. PEEP would be hollow, and the range for the alarms would be solid.
All right. What about respiratory rate?
You'd have two, when it's set for, when it's patient's actual. The patient actual would be
And
hollow.
what about tidal volume?
That'd be solid.
Solid.
Okay.
Are there two,
No, there are no.
on that screen, is there one or two tidal volume numbers
This
available?
goes to a fun point about teaching.
If they're breathing on their own, it's gonna be. If they're breathing on their own, which they have to be for this, then it's gonna be hollow.
So, correct.
Just show actual, right? Actual tidal volume versus what it's set for.
Correct. So take a moment when you forget these things. The expectation is that you remember them all the time. But we really do work with our eyeballs. In EMS, we walk into a room and we see everything in a moment. When you're trying to chase all of these numbers, what is that number? What is this number? Just take a moment and look at the vent, and the vent will answer those questions for you. Does that make sense? A lot of times when we do 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag, our mind gets overwhelmed and scrambles everywhere. When you're scrambled like that and trying to run through the blah, 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 just take a moment, look at the vent, and it'll help clear your thoughts. Everybody on board with that? Perfect. Everybody come up. I'm going to show you. I am going to show you how this vent fails first. Why would I ever show you how the machine fails?
So that we know what it looks like and what to do when it happens.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So turn it on, somebody. At the very top, it says adult, and we're going to mask an adult. So please hit the green check. And at the very bottom, we're in AC mode, yes? Change that AC mode to CPAP. Okay, we'll start breathing on the vent. I want you guys to yell out and scream out what my volumes and what my pressures and what my rate is.
Okay.
472, 596. It's all over.
All right, you're breathing 14, 16 times a minute. All right, you're
PIP is low. We're getting a low PIP alarm.
well,
PEEP is
breathing
now
rate.
high breath rate.
Then look next to tidal volume. Can you see those alarms?
Yeah.
Tidal volume is 689, but 675 with a low of 225.
And next to the word mode, you see where it says LC?
Yeah, it's crossed out.
That stands for leak compensation.
LC, where's that?
Point
On what?
It
Okay.
stands for leak compensation. And right now, the compensation of the leak is turned.
So that hole, it's not able to compensate for now.
Right.
Because you need a perfect seal with CPAP.
breath volume low.
So even though it's within 2 minutes, it won't alarm, but the red light will still show.
Yeah. Get low. So turn it off. Turn it back on, please.
We're only at 22% battery, so we got what, 4 hours?
Right, exactly. So do you see at the top left where it says adult?
Not yet, it's just firing up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pediatric mask CPAP?
so you want to turn it
To
down.
mask CPAP.
There you go.
And now look at your tidal volume alarms.
Patient disconnect.
So LC is okay. Tidal volume alarms are off. Low PIP is off.
Why, sizzle, no, it doesn't have a line through the PIF.
No, it says off.
Oh,
See, the alarm, low is off, it's still high alarm is 30.
The alarms are off.
All right,
The LC is not crossed out on this one.
And it stands for leak compensation. In LC, so the Hamiltons, or the LTVs have a leak compensation of 2. The Newport HD70s have a compensation of 3. This one does a compensation of 30 liters per minute. So it easily overcomes that little hole.
mm-hmm,
To be fair, some of the ICU vents
mm-hmm.
have leak compensations as high as 100. So some of them will outstretch that. But because of that, we now just get to hold the mask on. There's a little bit of leak or they have a beard or a muscle. It doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, Zoll recommends the entitled CO2 in the nose up over the ears. Do you have a leak with that?
Mhm.
So what? Do an interstate protocol is CPAP entitled CO2. Done. Perfect.
I like this much better than the actual mask we normally use, just only do it considerably the whole-
Those little things are, they're great for mild CHF, but it's just a glorified
I
non-rebreather.
wonder that the volumes are blowing up, by the way. And they should go down. Inhalation, exhalation. My volume should bounce back and forth between inhalation and exhalation. And tell me what your volumes and rates are at.
Our volume, you're going to 352 there. Rate is 21, 22. Now back up, so you're changing anywhere from 3 to 500,
Again, that's inhalation, exhalation, up, down.
right.
But it's giving it to you, what you draw, it gives you a not a
It do-
pound more. So you're not gonna breast stack with it.
Right now, the volume time, V
You're
time
in,
is
V-filter,
off, everything's off.
You're an alveolar, you're an alveolar fib. Yeah, whatever, he'll take a breath when his CO2 gets low enough.
Alarm.
That Nick, for sure.
It's no one I
Alright,
say
now-
you can get me back.
Now,
It does have apnea backup alarm. It will switch to AC mode.
okay, that's what I was gonna ask was, if you have apnea, it'll switch to, yeah.
Now, I do have to be clear. Apnea backup alarm, you are not good at what you do if you show up at the hospital for an apnea backup alarm. It is not a definitive airway, right? Don't
Right.
do that.
So it would automatically switch, because like the LTV would just, if you were on whatever we were using mode, it would just give you 12 a minute as backup without, like, the screen wouldn't change mode, but this will actually change mode. If they start breathing again, will it go back to CPAP? That's cool.
So it'll switch back and forth.
Wow, that is really nice.
But if they're switching back and forth between apnea backup alarm and CPAP, what does that tell you?
And vent them.
They need to go to sleep.
Mhm.
Right there.
You with me? We're not playing this game.
Right. We
Yeah.
need 2 of them.
Yeah.
150, shut the fuck up.
All right, what's going on?
We have the proper tools to do the job with the RSI and this and
Right.
Hey, take a breath.
not yet.
Thank you. It's fixed the patient, not the vent. Everybody agree with that?
Right. Just the-
Breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that again. So did you see the jaw thrust I did? Because you hear the difference just from a good BLS airway. Right?
Can't lift.
Don't breathe. You can't breathe. I'm not getting enough.
Just in through your nose, out through your mouth. Sir.
Breathe gently out. In and out, back out.
Keep
Calm
leak.
down, in, up, down.
Check your mouth seal.
and out.
Thank you. Is the answer ever the one? It's just a tool.
Tool to help tell you things.
Bad craftsman plays with his tools.
Yeah. All day long. Excellent. Good.
Didn't our vent fail the other day? Who was on that call? It wasn't the vent. Nice job.
Wasn't me.
dip IO2 mixer, crap the bed.
Oh, so-
Or just crap the bed, just
Yeah,
go.
sticker size.
Yeah, okay, let's take this the next step. What is trigger?
What is trigger? Trigger is,
The amount of pressure drawn to trigger the vent to breathe.
Yeah. And what's our factory preset?
-2.
And what's the hard to pull heavy trigger?
-6.
What's the easy to pull trigger?
0.5.
Yeah,
Thank you. So Pip and Pete are on the same line. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Yeah, Preston pulls that. It is a good epileptic thing.
Okay,
the
trigger level.
trigger is 2, 9 down 3, 5, 9.
And also in there,
Where's the trigger?
Right.
Top
I
left.
made it 6 and he's got JVD.
So we're at the revenge part of the training then.
go to easy, make it easy.
I know.
So we want to turn
I'm
that
gonna
as
buy
low
it.
as we can pretty much go with those, with the CPAP, right?
Hmm?
So with CPAP, you want to turn your trigger down low,
Right.
or like almost off.
Watching that.
Yeah.
Just a little work of breathing, right? Not much.
Now, when you did the change the trigger, how do you
Alright,
hit,
so the PIP
Pip,
button, just
yeah.
hold it.
yeah,
It pops up there.
pops up there, and it's
Then you
minus
turn,
6, and it goes to minus, as low as minus 0.5, 0.5.
Now, I hit the green button. And that trigger level stayed up there. Is that supposed to stay up there? It's been more than 3 days.
All right, now it's gone.
Right. What is it?
But where is it? Where is it on your? It's you're.
Okay, so you hold it and it's still.
Why does it show on the screen?
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, way down there. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. I need my other glasses for that. I can do the reading on the right side, but the other glasses, small stuff on the bottom.
Let's take this the next step. What does CPAP stand for?
Continuous
Positive pressure, weight pressure.
Yeah, fabulous. What does PEEP stand for?
Positive expiratory exhalation pressure.
Good. It's the baseline bottom pressure. And we can continuous. And there's a few people in the room that remember time before continuous positive pressure. When we had these failure patients, we would set them 90 degrees, reach over them, and use a bag valve mask on their face.
Right.
Yeah, and then I had to squeeze my arm. When they squeeze my arm, I'd squeeze the bag. Squeeze my arm, I'd squeeze the bag. And I had intermittent positive air pressure. The disadvantage of that is each time I release, I lose all my PEEP and I lose all my treatment, and I catch it again, and then up and down and up and down and chasing my tails. The advantage of that is in order to do CPAP, what does the patient have to be doing?
Breathing on their own.
Yeah, so they use a container to accomplish the same thing. They don't have to breathe on their own. I can feel the difference. All that,
Mhm.
but CPAP is better because it's continuous, so we recruit lungs all the time. We never lose that recruitment.
And I'm going to say something obvious that we don't really state. We're looking at someone of high training, know what's going on, and to be able to feel that compliance there. And he or she is the only medic there because we're running PB ambulances or PA ambulances.
Yeah.
That we got other things going on. If I have an EMT, they're not getting me the IV where I'm going to be able to give the meds. It is just.
So this is what drove me into teaching, because I ran PB my entire career. I ran PB, never run double med, except a spare shift and pick up a guy. And I did RSI on PB drugs, but I showed that basic how to use PB. I spent a long time with him. Right, I got him a beer, I got him a cup of coffee. And let's learn EC. Let's learn a good seal. Let's dial that in. Do basics know how to use PBMs?
Sure, they're supposed to.
Do they know how to use it well? I went into training. Right now I'm training because if I'm going to be on that job and start doing that high level education, I love teaching. God, I really enjoy it. I think you have a good time today. But in that moment, I'm not teaching. I don't have time. I need you to do what you're doing now. So if you're gonna step into that system, that discussion, your training department has to be on. You gotta bring basics to know how to bag. Right?
Yeah, we gotta make a training department knows how to do that.
That's why there's a whole new program I put in play.
I'm here. Right? I take responsibility for my actions, Jerry.
Yeah.
Perfect. Imagine, and when we're using continuous positive area pressure or CPAP or P, right? Or whatever we're saying, they're getting too tired. Because they should call us like the woods in the morning. And their head's popping, the nitrogen narcosis is kicking in. And I know in about 5 minutes I'm going to have to paralyze him between this guy. It's coming, right? Imagine the same I had CPAP on, put a bag valve mask on the face at the same time when they in and squeeze. Continuous plus.
Sounds like BiPAP.
Oh, now I'm going to use that. What is that word again, Mr. James?
Big B, small I, PAP.
I'm not allowed to use that word.
Bi-level.
BiPAP? Why? Because what do you guys call it?
It's trademarked by electronics.
Yeah.
Oh, that's shit.
Yeah, it is
That's
100%.
dumb.
So it should be BL, right? in this?
Yeah, bi-level.
Bi-level.
Don't get there yet.
I'm not, I'm just looking, dude, I'm just looking.
It is bi-level ventilation, or BL. What's there, we're gonna steal from Harry Potter. What's interesting in the name that shall not be named in bi-level ventilation?
Nothing.
No.
It's the same thing.
No,
It's trademark.
so that hurt me, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
So-
just like, don't make me a Xerox copy of that.
that's exactly it.
Can you perform the upper thrust maneuver, please, on the patient?
Right, for the Heimlich. Yeah, thank you.
Heimlich or
The honey lick.
Yeah, so now let's rewind. We could have gone anywhere. That's where these events minds went.
Honey lick. You want something on, yeah.
Let's go to, they're so tired they're not living on their own. What is SIMV at a rate of 0? That's
CPAP.
same thing. What's SIMV at a rate of 0 plus pressure support?
BiPAP.
Bi-level.
Same thing.
I'm a fan of speaking the language of the ER speak, right? Because that's what they're expecting to hear.
Which is why I
So
roll
you-
it all.
Hey, patient's on BiPAP at 10/5. They know, oh, boom, 10/5. You bi-level. The nurse is like, what the fuck is he talking about? The dog's like, what the heck is he talking about? So,
Right, which is why we have this conversation.
but with Zoll, it's bi-level.
Yeah.
Who cares about that?
Right.
All right.
Is it coming in there?
Yeah, that's right, it's our bag.
So now if I have CPAP, what is CPAP?
Continuous.
Continuous.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this
It's all
word.
locked in. Where you broke it.
If I have CPAP
Not a lot.
of 5, right? And CPAP of 5 is low for sick people. So that's
And that's 5/5.
right. If I have CPAP at 5 plus pressure support of 10 more, the keyword being additive is CPAP plus pressure support. Plus. You heard me say that a few times?
CPAP
plus
plus
support.
pressure support.
So if I have 5 of CPAP plus pressure support of 5 more, my peak inspiratory pressure will be 10. Now, it won't ever be 10. You'll see it at 11 or 12 because the patient has this kind of variable rate that we can't control. If it's lower than that, it means they're getting tired. But if you want 5/5 with peak inspiratory pressure of 10, you expect them to hit around 11, 15, 14. It won't be consistent.
So your peak, you want at the number to make up the difference. That's confusing to some people, yeah.
Right.
Like they see 5/5 and they go, oh, that's CPAP. No, that's 5 plus 5 is 10/5.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now let's take the next step.
What real quick, 0/5 would be CPAP. Okay,
Just
right, double checking, make sure I understood.
Mhm.
We're gonna play with this a few times. We're gonna, here we are, step 1, we're gonna add to layer 1. Let's go to, what is another name for CPAP?
Continuous
What's another name
peak.
for peak?
EPAP.
EPAP, it's all the same thing, and positive airway pressure. And if I have an EPAP of 5 and I change to bi-level mode, if I change to bi-level mode and I have an EPAP of 5, what does IPAP stand for?
Inspiratory.
Positive airway pressure. I can have an EPAP of 5 with an IPAP of 10. It's not additive anymore. It is targeted. So at 5/10, my peak inspiratory pressure on my IPAP will be 10.
Say it again.
Thank you. So,
So 10/5 would be.
And 10/5 is 10.
On which mode again?
bi-level mode.
Five.
Okay.
So by level, it's not additive. It's
It's targeted.
A is A.
Yeah.
Okay. B is B. All right, gotcha.
Versus CPAP,
Plus pressure.
it'd be, plus pressure support would be, no,
5/5 would be the same thing.
Right.
It's the 10/5.
I thought we were saying
Right,
CPAP
right.
with pressure support.
but we're not, we're using a different
CPAP
mask.
with
though,
pressure
aren't we now?
support would be,
We're using the same mask.
Yeah, it's a non-vented mask.
makes it BiPAP.
You mean between CPAP and BiPAP?
Yeah,
So,
It's the same mask.
All right, so I have a
Yeah,
peak
right
of
there.
5.
all right,
five.
5.
I also
We're
have
gonna add
a
that to the C.
CPAP of 5,
Correct.
right?
All right, so right
I also
now,
have an
it's 5 now.
EPAP of 5. This machine will do 3 different things. This machine will do SIMP at a not supported rate of 0, right? SIMP of 0, which means I just have P. That's CPAP. Everybody on board with that? I can SIMP at a rate of 0 with add 5.
The PS, the pressure support.
Correct. So my pressure support then, or my peak inspiratory pressure will then be 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. Everybody on board with that?
Yeah.
Perfect. This machine will also, and you should, please start up in mass CPAP. Don't go to adult, scroll down to mask CPAP. If you do that, your leak compensation is turned on and your alarms are much more appropriate for mask, not intubated. So please start up in mask CPAP mode. Then I have CPAP. Let us actually say P. Let us say P. P plus pressure support. So if my PEEP is at 5 and I add 5 more,
It's 10.
it's 10. Everybody on board with that?
Right.
So once you start up in mask CPAP mode, and then you go to the emerge, and you're right to say you want to talk the same language as they want to talk, you can change the mode to BL mode. And BL mode will give me EPAP. What is EPAP?
CPAP.
Bottom pressure
Bottom pressure.
and IPAP. And it is targeted. When I'm in bi-level mode, it is targeted, not additive. So if my IPAP is at 15, and my EPAP's at 9,
You're still targeting at
15.
15. You're still at 15. That's your target.
Yeah. Let me give you a hint. On the interfacility transport world, right? On the 911 side, powered up in CPAP plus level turn on, go, right? And when we're going from Memorial to Main Med, before you put them on your machine, look at their graph and tell me what they're targeted and watch what they target and watch what they target. So when you change it to your machine, make sure they hit the same targets. Everybody on board with that? Perfect. Perfect. And another way to cheat is, what is pressure married to? Volume. And if I have enough spread between my IPAP and EPAP, even though my volume is hollow, I can spread those or make them bigger and my volume gets up. So how much do I weigh?
100 kilos.
How much should I weigh?
170.
82.
Yeah, for an ideal body weight, my total volume is around 350, 390, right? So with the appropriate spread of IPAP and EPAP, my tidal volume should be my expected tidal volume from the height.
Now, would we adjust the EPAP to get there? Or we adjust?
So Mr. Jenks is not here anymore, but to answer your question, what gas do we exhale?
CO2.
Thank you. Exhalation, positive airway pressure.
Right.
So if they don't have enough exhale, I can increase this a little bit more. What gas do we inhale?
Oxygen.
If they're oxygen, there's a
So how am I going to increase increase the exhalation by increasing minute volume?
change it directly. If my end positive airway pressure is at 5, go to 15. Or go to, you know what I mean, maybe not 15.
Will that really increase my end time?
Yeah, yes. Direct parallel. End positive airway pressure, exhalation phase. Turn it up, watch the number shift. Turn it down, watch the number shift. Yes. Perfusion, ventilation. VQ.
Where is the BL on this?
Well, somebody write this down, because we'll forget. I need somebody to write up my notes. Turn it off real quick. Because I can't hear because of the deaf line and old line. We're going to start out the machine like we just before in CPAP. Put on board with that, so somebody write it down, CPAP. And let me breathe a couple green breaths on that, okay? And we'll start the CPAP at 5, because that's what it fires up at. My lungs can handle the CPAP at 9. I do all right at 9. Please be nice and stay every time.
You personally?
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's not healthy, you know what I mean? But clinically, when we're treating patients, man, skip that, right? But in a minute, I'm gonna put myself on the bed. And then, so we have a 9 for CPAP, go from 5 to 9 after I get a couple breaths. And then the next step is, I want you to add some pressure support. And I can do 4 of pressure support. So 9 plus 4 will give a peak inspiratory pressure of 13. And it won't be 13, a little bit over, right? And then at the bottom, where it says CPAP mode, I want you to change that to bi-level mode. And then in bi-level mode, watch your EPAP and IPAP. And watch how I breathe on that. To see how we do it. Sound good?
Right.
Yeah.
On this top left on the screen, though, it didn't give BL as an option.
No, you have EC mode. You have.
Oh, so right directly in that box as opposed to up here.
Correct. So you start
Gotcha.
there, and then you change your percentage.
Dude, I've always been good at interrupting you, you know that.
That's what you're good at.
They see that on there, I can't.
Down to CPAP,
CPAP.
green.
Let me breathe a little bit.
All right, so peeps at 5. You said slowly go up with that to 9. So hit that until it shows peak.
There you go.
What are you turning
9.
up right now?
Here's the dial. No,
Gotcha.
and then
Okay,
acknowledge
so,
it.
Yep, I did. So
Okay.
now he said slowly go up to 4 on pressure support.
2, 3, 4. Acknowledge.
Acknowledge.
Look at the graph. Look at the graph.
Look at the graph change. Oh, yeah. Going from 9 way on up to almost, it's around 18, 19. Maxed out, 18 to 21. So that's really changed around, even though you're set at 13, you're going as much as 18 to 21. Right. And that's good.
So then CPAP button, we can change it to BL.
BL, there you go. BL. Right.
Oh, so it automatically shifts.
It automatically shift up there in the peak.
So this
Yeah.
is true 13 over 9.
That is right. 13 over 9. That's right.
The thing I like about BiPAP is is being on CPAP at night. I do better on BiPAP. It's more comfortable. You're not breathing in and out against the same pressure. You get more of a blast pulling in. That's why our CHF patients did so good with BVMs and demand valves, because you got that and then a little bit.
But we lost lung recruitment in between, right? So we had to. Yeah.
Right, but that increased inspiratory pressure is easier to breathe and helps clear lungs. And that's what our little masks don't do very well, these little CPAP in the bags. They're okay for 5 and 5, and that's it. A little more Venturi.
Turn it off a little bit.
Off,
So,
off a little bit or off?
in-
Typical guy.
In my opinion, never mind. In my opinion, if the work of breathing is there, they have enough energy, they have enough base metabolic rate, their ATP is there, their sugar's there, they do really, really well on CPAP. When they get tired, they need the work of breathing assistance. And you should be on BiPAP. If they're not so tired yet, don't jump, right? Just like all patients don't get oxygen with a non-rebreather. Sometimes we start it as a cannula if they don't need it, right? But be ready to jump.
You know those yellow, the CPAP OSs?
Yeah,
So use those a lot, loved them, right?
Yeah.
Burn through oxygen. Walked into a lady who took her last breath in front of me, bubbling, frothing CHF, right? And she's a DNR. And I literally had the mask in my hand and went,
yeah.
and she lived like 5 more days and got to say goodbye to everybody. That inspiratory pressure is life-changing.
Yeah.
In that
They're too
extremity.
tired to lift a
Yeah.
long chest.
So BiPAP mask on, see the new mask. If I remember correctly from the last class we did, when they came down for the demos, there was a leak control. But
Yes,
uh,
yeah, we talked about that.
yeah,
Ready to do it again? Fire it up,
So-
and
I
ask-
was probably.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
fire it up.
so when you go to CPAP,
One of us scoop this
yeah,
back.
of course. You come down to CPAP.
I see the LC.
Yeah, that leak control is on. It has better, correct me, and the reason I'm saying is to make sure I've got it
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Better compensation for leaks associated with a mask than SimV would, which was made for tube.
correct. Although you
Okay.
can do some B with leak compensation.
Right, but yeah.
But yes.
So,
with that, you
so
can
whether you're
lose-
bi-level or CPAP, the leak control should be on.
Yeah, yeah, and you can lose a little bit. We recommend anti-CO2 in the nose over the years. You lose a little bit, so what? It compensates for that. Yeah, and if your leak is too huge, then they have to draw more, so the work of breathing is harder. So still fix the leak.
Right.
Everybody on board with that?
Mhm.
But you don't have to nail gun the mask on their face anymore.
So it would help with the guys that have the full facial hair and all that.
Yeah. And take a big old tegaderm, old school, take a large tegaderm and put that on there.
Instead of the cannula one, with the mask, you can put that ET tube one in line, right? Isn't that gonna give us a better with less worry about leak at all?
And some people, I don't have a mask with me, but some people put the mask on and then the entitled CO2 in there.
Right,
So you have to entitle the
Yeah.
ET tube on the inside of the mask.
right.
So it sits more in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ideas. I'm not allowed to talk about medicine, I'm allowed to talk about.
Yeah,
things.
you're just replacing the tube with a mask in line, that's all. Because those cannula setups, according to the literature for Zoll, are not accurate with liter flows over 5 liters per minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Turn it off. Tangent, squirrel, entitled CO2 is nothing more than an air gas meter.
Right.
You read the gas coming out the nose. In this case, it's 35 to 45. All air gas meters is 0 to room air. Then you give them to your patient first. Do not put them on your patient and then turn them on. They calibrate quicker and more accurate. And I don't care, I'm talking about the Life Pack, the Philips, all of them.
Mhm.
Plug it in the machine first, let it calibrate to 0, then give it to your patient. Fabulous.
Yeah, we were, with that CPAP OS, we were getting screwy numbers. And we were like, what the fuck are we doing? And we looked like, in the package, it was like, oh, not accurate, over 5 liters of oxygen flow. We're like,
There you go.
Now, and now was that an inline or was that nasal cannula?
that's a cannula one.
And so you were trying to put the nasal cannula on and then put the mask over that. And so you wanted to reverse that in
Right.
regards to putting a inline
Yeah.
between the mask and the.
Just like you would with an ET tube.
Right,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the other thing we were seeing it screwy with was when you put them on a non-rebreather, same thing, you get screwy numbers. because
Yeah.
It's 15 liters. So we're like, okay. And not only screwy numbers, but you won't get a good waveform. So you
Yeah.
won't see, oh, what's my, oh,
Yeah.
Shark fin, right?
nope, it's getting all over.
Yeah.
T, what do you got? Any questions? What you got, Buzz?
Pretty much a pro at this point.
Bam! Take it.
A pro, I like that, huh? He's a pro. Yeah.
God,
Cool.
that was good.
I said, 4 hours, and guess what, guys? I was 5 minutes off. I am sorry for going 5 minutes over.
Started after that.
This is bullshit.
No, that's true. I did start 5 minutes
I'm out of
late.
here.
Yeah, it's true. I got here at 9:05, so
Yeah,
I screwed you guys.
I got it down.
Rude.
Rude.
No, I was trying to- I was trying to
Dude,
get.
that was awesome. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna put this in your national registry as well, just so you guys know. All right, thank you. All right, take care.
My favorite patients.